It's not often that we start a show by showing you what we're going to finish the show with, but today's different. Had a fantasy football draft, slapped a chuck roast on the smoker, and made some pulled beef sandwiches. It's game day with Johnny Wolfpack. So one of the most important parts of this beef recipe is making sure that we pick the right seasonings. And I'm going to come in here, I want to find something that doesn't have any sugar in it to put on my beef. So I'm pretty sure, yep, here's the first one. That's, Bill Mann's Pit Grit. We're just going to double check this. Yeah, no sugar. So we're going to put some of that on there. And let me get this Tex-Mex out of the way and the Steak Attack, because I know that Stackhouse, the Stackhouse Memphis Original, does not have sugar. I'm going to confirm that. No sugar. So we're going to combine these. Now, I'm going to take like 3 parts of this to 1 part this. I'm kind of a traditionalist, right? I want to have that Texas briskety feeling to my poor man's brisket. Really, salt and pepper is a general thing that they use, so I'm going to use 3 parts of the Stackhouse, and I'm going to use 1 part of the Pit Grit, and it comes out to have really good balance of flavor, little bit of something besides garlic, salt, and pepper, and then heavy garlic, salt, and pepper. So let's season that guy up, and let's ride. So let's remember that when you're seasoning your meat, you want to make sure that you apply equal amounts to every part of the meat. So I'm going to start with the top of the meat right here, or the bottom, however you consider it. I'm going to pat that in, and then I'm going to make sure I get the sides. Sometimes we forget the sides of our meat, people, and we got to understand that it's not just about the pretty flat parts. It's about all the sides of the meat. And again, make sure you pat this, not rub it. We pat our meat, not rub. Look, I get it. I get why everybody likes brisket, but I'm telling you, to cook this beef, this is a chuck roast. I'm going to show you how we get that ready. It's on the smoker here at 225. But to cook this chuck roast, the way Johnny Wolfpack is going to show you how to do it, and then shred it up for sandwiches, money in the bank. All right, so my poor man's brisket, better known as a chuck roast, pulled it off the smoker. Just the color is phenomenal, right? Perfect color. Now, I know this is somewhat sacrilegious to you people, but I'm going to put it in a crock pot and finish it out. I want that moisture to build. I want it to retain. In order to make it even more moist, I'm going to pour some beef broth on it. Now, I want this to go about half the way up the meat. Don't cover it. Go about halfway up. We're going to kind of braise it from here on. Then I'm going to add just a covering of the Johnny Wolfpack Backyard Red. Putting sugar on it now is not a big deal because it's not going to be exposed to heat, like a fire heat. And so it's okay. And then, la pièce de résistance. Let's put some pats of butter, right? Kind of like you do a Mississippi pot roast. I'm going to put some pats of butter right on the top, and it's just kind of going to melt in there and make it happy. I'm putting 6 on the top, which is about, I don't know, half a stick. For those of you who keep track, and for those of you who keep track, I pulled it. I can't remember if I told you this or not, but I'll tell you again, I pulled it at 170 off the smoker. It took me about 5 hours at 170. I'm going to finish it in the crock pot. I'm going to put it on high. I'm going to check it. And when it hits the desired temperature of about 203.75, I'm going to just put it on warm and let it ride. All right, guys, be right back with the best pulled beef you've ever had on a sandwich. All right, so we are now finished the cooking process. Here is what it looks like, and now it's just going to shred like pulled pork. Look at that. And I know you can chop it if you want. You can't slice it. I guess you could, but we're not going to because we're doing a pulled beef sandwich. So as I'm pulling here, let's just kind of recap what happened. So I got the chuck roast, and I went in the cabinet and I decided that I wanted to put some seasoning on it that didn't have any sugar in it because I didn't want the sugar to burn on the smoker. So I found the 2 seasonings I wanted. I used 3 parts of the Stackhouse and 1 part of the pit grit from Bill Mann, and I put it all over my chuck roast and I put it on the smoker at 225. After about 5.5 hours, my meat was about 170 degrees. I came and put it in the crock pot and I let the magic happen. I put some Backyard Red by Johnny Wolfpack on it so it would flavor up a little bit more. I brought the beef broth up to about halfway up the chuck roast, and I let her ride until it hit about 205 degrees. And let me just kind of show you this. Ooh, the close up. I mean, it doesn't get a lot better than that. And I already know, I know it's flavorful and juicy, but we still have some liquid here in the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to use all of it. I don't want it to be soggy, but that's flavor. So I want to put some more flavor on this. When we come back, we're going to show you how I make a sandwich with it. But it's a perfect game day recipe. All right, I'm ready to dig in. Again, it's been a big football day, fantasy football draft, football going on. I put some pickled red onions on my sandwich because it'll help cut through the richness of the beef. Let me just take a bite. Very beef forward, which is what I was going for. I love the levels that I have. I can taste salt and pepper. I can taste the seasonings. I can taste the barbecue sauce. And I can taste the goodness that Johnny Wolfpack has provided during this game day. Hi, Coco. During this game day video. For more, make sure you subscribe to Johnny Wolfpack Cooking. I'll see you next time.